Riddler!
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Riddler. You know we've met before.
Yes, we have.
I'm-
Well, I'm Eddie Nigma from GridleyReviews.net, and I'm here with Michael Sinterniklass. Sinterniklass.
You can do it. Yes, you did it.
Sinterniklass.
See, that's it.
Okay.
It's actually very phonetic. S-I-N.
Sin.
T-E-R.
Ter.
N-I-K.
Nick.
L-A-A-S.
Loss.
Good. Yeah, it took me a while to learn, too. And I was like, oh, why do I have to learn to spell this name? Dad. Yeah.
Well, you also done the voices of Leonardo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003
It's
series.
true.
Right?
It's true.
Okay. And Dean Venture from the Adult Swim's The Venture Brothers.
That is also true.
Okay. And well, what got you into doing voice acting?
I actually studied acting my whole life. That's a bit of a stretch. But since I was pretty young, I grew up in London, and I went to the Italia Conti Stage School, where I believe the Hogwarts kids went, and Noel Coward, Google him. And so I'd always wanted to be an actor, and I'd always loved any form of animation without having any taste, even as a child. But then I grew up and found friends who were watching anime, and back in my day, see, I have a beard, and there's some grays in it. I'm older than you are, Riddler Man.
Yes.
In my day, we didn't have shoes. We had to walk uphill both ways, and our anime came on these ribbons that were spooled up in these boxes, and they were very low quality, and they weren't dubbed or subbed, and they had Japanese TV commercials in them. And but we would discover these treasures and go, oh, this is so crazy. And this girl, and they're like a rock band, and then her motorcycle turns into like a robot around her, and then when she does a kick, like rockets come out of her shoes, and it was really rad. And then so we watched more and more anime, and then I went to more and more acting schools, and then I really wanted. Dubbing was like sort of just beginning, and there were a couple of good dubs, but most of them were kind of odd, and I didn't understand why. So I thought maybe I can use the power of my acting training to make dubs a little better. And then I really wanted to get involved, and then I got a chance to, and I just 16 years ago just held on and never stopped.
You're amazing. No, that's some pretty amazing stuff. So when you got involved with the Venture Brothers, what's the atmosphere that's actually going on there on the set for the Venture Brothers?
It's very professional, as you might expect. There's no tomfoolery or goofing around or horseplay. That's all there is. It's actually funny. I mean, the whole thing even came about because a friend of mine, Mike Foran, who is a designer on the show, we worked at a game company together, and he called me up one day to go, oh, we're auditioning this thing, and you met this guy, and he's written this new show, and I was like, oh yeah, he's cool. But you have to come in right now to audition because it records tomorrow, and you know, I didn't think of you until now, but I totally should have called you. We called all these people in to do this part, and you would be a good kid because you did all those kid voices on the game we did. And I was like, oh, I'm at a client's office right now. I was at Media Blasters, and I was like, I don't think I can get away. I mean, can you fax me something? Or he's like, no, I mean, can we do it tomorrow? No, it records tomorrow. Oh, crud. Then I guess I gotta say no. And then before we hung up, I was like, well, thanks for calling. Wait, by the way, where's your office? And he goes, oh, it's right up here, which was 2 blocks away from where Media Blasters was at the time. And I was like, oh, snap. I can be there in 15 minutes. So I wrapped things up at Media Blasters, went over to Noodle Soup at the time, now we're leaders, and they auditioned me, and this guy, Miguel, incredibly talented artist, was auditioning me in a closet with a mic with a pantyhose on it, and he's kneeling in front of me, and he gives me the thing, and I'm reading it, and I see him shake his head, and I was like, oh, he hates me. I'm not even done yet, and he's shaking his head. And before I finished, he goes, oh no, this is perfect. He is Dean. So then the next day I recorded it with the creator, and we stood opposite one mic and tried to go Team Venture, completely out of sync. It took us 10 days, and then I kept doing it. But it's really fun to work on. Those guys are kind of loopy, and sometimes Doc Hammer directs by saying random things. Just word salad, Tourette's, you know. I want to hear Velcro, so you do another take with more Velcro. But I find it inspiring because it speaks to your unconscious mind. As does the show. There's a lot of suggestive, hypnotic, flash frames that you don't see that make you want to buy Coca-Cola products, Domino's Pizza, and Starbucks.
All right. Also, I did notice that you did work on. You did work on a couple of video games. I know you did the voice of Leonardo in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games that came out recently, and in Final Fantasy 13 you did the voice of the final villain there.
Yes.
And, is it preparing for a video game role? Is that any different from preparing for like a role with Team Venture or any of your anime roles?
The game industry is so secretive about everything they do that you don't really typically get any opportunity to prepare anything. So you show up and you're like, okay, I don't know, high voice, low voice, I don't know. You just show up warm and get plenty of rest because you're going to be screaming your head off for the most part in a video game. And you just have to be really trust your director and be in the moment and go for it because you don't get to prepare. Which is, theater actors, you're like, oh, I want to rehearse. But I think the one exception to that, because a lot of us in the game industry who also direct games are trying to get companies to trust us and let us know more in advance. Uncharted 2 is extraordinary, and it benefits from being one of the few games in the industry to have had a rehearsal process. So I think it shows. It's really, really great. But you just have to show up and be like, okay, hit me. What am I going to do today?
Pretty amazing. And you did go to E3. I know you did mention that earlier.
I did go to E3, yeah.
And we are a gaming site, so what is your opinion on the new motion controls that are coming out?
I think they're really cool. I talked to a lot of developers about Natal, now it's called Connect,
yeah.
and I was like, I can't imagine that it's not going to be a little bit weirdly laggy or something. And what's the resolution? Can you really see the foot changing or the subtle motions? And apparently they really did a good job. There was something that they initially were concerned about, but I think they did a software fix, and now it's really, really good. The cool thing was Ubisoft had a booth, and they had you would step into a volume, and it would show you not just like an avatar, but it would show you what the camera sees. And it's pretty high resolution, and it responded very quickly. I think that's awesome. I'm psyched about the Move. I know we've had Wii, we've got the Wii Motion Plus, but I'm psyched about it. I don't know why. It's the light up ball, or it's the Arrow demo that made me really excited. But I was blown away by, and didn't expect it to be this cool, by the 3DS.
Really?
3DS is nuts. I'm buying one immediately. I mean, I bought the DS in Japan when it came out because I was there, and it was really hard to get, but I finally barely did get one. And I will probably go and get the 3DS, unless they do like a regional lockout. Ooh, I hope they don't. Do you know if they're doing it?
I honestly don't know. I bought a DSi, and I always buy import games from Japan just so I can make sure that I didn't play them like the Jump Superstars and such. But I don't know what they're going to do with the 3DS. They might do a lockout. Sony, I know they don't do it, but Nintendo might do so. But also, anything new that you have coming out you can tell us about?
Yes, I'm working on Gundam Unicorn, and actually this weekend until 6:30 in the morning last night. I've been dealing with casting and script adaptation, and it's Gundam, it's amazing, but it's the first time it's continued the original timeline, and it's magnificent. I'm excited about that. Venture Brothers, we're finishing season 4 soon.
One last thing. Can you do a Go Team Venture for me, please?
The what?
Go Team Venture.
How does that go?
What? Go Team Venture. From Venture Brothers?
Can you show me a video? Or I'm actually not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, really? In the Venture Brothers, normally the two brothers, Hank and Dean, whenever they're really psyched about something or they've done some major accomplishment, they do touch the fingers together in the V sign and say, Go Team Venture.
They do? Yes! I don't actually watch the show. Oh my gosh. You totally believe me. Count of 3.
Okay.
Okay, but it's important. 3 or on 3 or after 3, because we'll totally screw it up. I mean, we screw it up when we record it, so 3, 2, 1, or 3, 2, 1. Your call.
1, 2, 3, then Venture.
Okay. Okay. It's really hard to do this.
Okay.
Are you stretched?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Throw Go Team.
No.
Is it on 3?
3 and then go.
Okay.
Ready? 1.
What am I going to say?
Team Venture.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Go Team Venture!
Ta-da! I can die now. Thank you very much.
Please don't.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
ReadTheReviews.net.
When do you want me to record?
Exactly.